What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Pop. I think you're on two screens. Going on, everybody? Art mate, you want to turn that off? What is going on, everybody? It's all good. I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Today, we got a channel members live stream. Now, listen, there's a lot more channel members. Some of them couldn't make it today. Again, we can do this in groups up to 9 people. So, I want to start doing this at least once or twice a month, legitly, especially with the draft coming up and some more big things we got to take care of. So I want to hear the channel members' opinions, the guys who put in the most support to the Philly Talk Podcast. We do live call-ins often, but I want to start doing more channel member live streams. You might see some of the same faces up here. You might see a new 5 to 6 to 7 people. I think we're around 42 channel members. Like I said, we can only get 9 people on at a time. And so I want channel members to, who are watching us on the rerun to just be aware of it and catch you guys on the next one. But with that being said, let all the channel members introduce themselves. And one just jumped off. He'll get right back on. But go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on? I'm AK Eagles, 88. Good to be here.
Go ahead, Art.
Hey, I'm Art Makepeace. On Mac Days Dogs and Catering. You saw me with the hot dog videos all the time too. I'm a big time Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan for damn near 50 years. So
there you go. Go. And go ahead, Vic.
What's good, everybody? I didn't get to hear anything. All my stuff was frozen, so I didn't get to hear the intro or anything.
Just let people, know who you are in the chat normally. It pretty much says it there, but.
Yeah, man, Victory, channel member, always up in here. You see me, you see my comments, you know who it is.
There you go. Hey, Philly 52, feel free to click the community tab. The link should be in the community tab, so feel free to come through and chat it up, Philly 52. But yeah, so let's start with free agency. Free agency started. You saw a lot of teams jump the gun right away. The Eagles were silent. We know we have money problems. We were able to free up some money, and we're right there hovering around the cap. I believe we are 2 or 3 million under now. We still got some more moves we can make. We got to make a decision on Zach Ertz, even Derek Barnett. We can still make a decision with him. So, let's start with AK Eagles 88. Do you see another Eagle free agent signing in the next couple of days, or do you think we're going to wait till the market really goes down, or pretty much just get the rest in the draft?
I don't know. I would like to see us get a veteran corner, the next couple of days here, or even, weeks, and, just try to get some stability on that other side across from Slay. But, I definitely would hit cornerback position in the draft for sure. Whether that's trading up into round 1 and taking like Horn or Surtain or, any of these young ones, that's to be seen. Hopefully they do that, but if not, with the second, Sante Samuel Jr. sounds pretty nice. So, there's plenty of options we can go. So, just all depends on what you said with the money, got to figure out the money.
That's true too. And to my opinion, even if we would pull a linebacker in free agency, like a cheaper linebacker, a veteran cornerback, that does not deter me from going at that same position in the draft. You still got to get young there. You got to get guys who can make something happen. And whether that's the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, whether we spend the majority of the draft picks on defense after the 1st round pick, not saying that we shouldn't go 1st round defensive player. I just think that the best player available when we're picking at 6, if we stay at 6, are going to be them skill players, whether it's a Kyle Pitts, a Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, even a Penei Sewell if he falls. I believe once you get to the defensive players like the Micah Parsons, the Patrick Surtains, even the Caleb Farleys, if you got him higher than Surtain, I believe they're later down the line. Their BPA will be a good value around 10, 11, 12, 13, something along them lines. And I don't know if the Eagles are willing to go back like that. But Vic, do you got any free agents in mind, or do you think the Eagles are going to stay put? What is your take on free agency going forward from today for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Listen, everybody got that stimmy money, but the Eagles. We are broke. We're not. At least I don't think we can make any moves until probably post June. When then post June cuts, or maybe like training camp cuts come around, you see guys that are need some bargain shopping. That's when we're going to come in and do our thing. Right now, I think our team is focused on the draft, trying to build it from the draft, and whatever we can get free agency, like I said, would be something at in training camp.
Good take, good take. Before I ask Art his take on free agency, like I said, channel members that are in the chat, if you want to chop it up on this subject and more for the next 30 minutes to 45 minutes, go to the community tab. You'll find the link there and then hop through, whether it's from the phone or the computer. But Art, what's your take on the free agent signing? Do you have anybody that the Eagles can afford, or what is your overall assessment on what we're going to do forward for free agency?
I just hope that Howie doesn't go after a quarterback. We got so many other positions we need, in this draft. And we got Flacco, which is okay for Hurts as a backup. It wasn't what I was expecting, but, it is what it is. I just worried he goes after another quarterback and it's going to be another whole, controversy thing.
Yeah, I mean, Howie Roseman can still do anything when it comes to the draft. But before we get into the draft talk, do you think there's any veteran free agents out there, whether it's offensive side of the ball, defensive side of the ball? These are the signings we did. We went outside Andrew Adams, a kind of role player safety who pretty much produced for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on special teams. Now, back in 2019, he did play some snaps at the safety position, rotating, but in the 2020 season, when they went to the Super Bowl, he was mainly a special teams contributor. After that, we go ahead and get Anthony Harris, Minnesota Vikings safety, on a $5 million 1-year deal. Pretty much was left a lot to desire in the interception column in 2020, but did have 6 interceptions in 2019, 7 if you include the playoffs. And then we went and got Flacco. So we are making small moves. Safety was something we had to address because we lost Jalen Mills. Whether you love him or hate him, he was a body there. Ronnie McLeod is injured. He will be back. We don't know to what level. And when he does come back, we don't know the timetable. So it could be, a quarter of the season, him just getting started, getting acclimated. So we don't know what we're doing there. Even a guy like Rudy Ford, a special teamer, but a guy who could fill in as safety, we lost too. So we needed depth there. We got that. But if there's one other spot on the Eagles defense that's just like, we need depth there, it's cornerback to me. So do you see the Eagles going out and getting a veteran cornerback that is just able to suit up and play outside?
I'm gonna take it because I don't think the question was directed at anyone. But at the moment, I honestly think we can't get a veteran cornerback. We have our veteran cornerback. That's Slay. We got our veteran in the locker room. We're strapped this year. Like we're beholden to our cap, and our cap is out of bounds right now. So I don't think we're going to be able to bring in another veteran. I think we're going to go out to draft. Hopefully, second round, whoever's available, the top one we can get. He can, work on this team opposite Slay and do what we need. But yeah, as for us bringing anyone in right now, I don't see that happening. Now for depth, aside of cornerback, I think the defensive end. That's something that we need some depth behind. We just lost Vinny Curry today to the Jets, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was the Jets.
He signed a 1-year deal.
Yeah, so that's a position that we're going to have to look at because right now we don't know what we have in Barnett still. He's on his 5th year, I believe. We're still evaluating on his 5th year.
Yeah, and that's why it was shocking that we went ahead and extended him, and we didn't either restructure him or extend him in a sense where we cut down that $10 million. Like there were so many different ways that Howie Roseman could have cut down the $10 million. And pretty much he didn't do it. So you got this guy who is a question mark. Again, when a guy is on the field, I think he can reduce. Is the fact that can he stay on the field? Is he going to have the right mindset? And I'm not saying mindset, but out of all the players on the Eagles, he's the guy who just gets them crazy penalties. It's that I'm not saying bad attitude, because at the end of the day, I want my guy to have a little edge on him. But it's like, come on, man, play smart, do the right things, because he gets some, roughing the passers, these 15-yard penalties that are drive killers. We're about to get off the field, and it's a change. It's a change of game type play.
Yeah.
Is he going to cut them down? Is he going to stay healthy? Do you think he's going to be on the roster in 2021? Here's the two people I want to talk about: Derek Barnett and Zach Ertz. Let me ask you, AK Eagle 88 first. Zach Ertz or Derek Barnett, do you think the Eagles do anything with them because of their contracts and because of the situation Zach Ertz is in already?
Well, here's the way I look at Zach Ertz's contract is, if you can't get what you want from him this time, you have to pretty much let him play out his last year and pray to God he balls out and let his draft stock go back up and trade him, before week 9. So, I mean, that would be my option, especially if you're looking for like a second or third. I mean, I do believe last year was a fluke for him. It was a fluke for a lot of people, honestly, on the injury scale. So, I believe if you can't get what you want for him, then just go ahead and let him play out his contract and let him ball out, and then let it go up. And Barnett, I'm with you, man. That's shaky. He's been shaky. He's had his ups and he's had his downs with us, injury wise. I do not see him playing on a $10 million contract this year. So they're either going to trade him or they're going to extend him here in the next couple weeks. Cause if they do want to, get some good friendly salary cap so they could at least sign another player, then they're going to have to do some restructuring here. Whether it's with Barnett, whether it's with Cox, whether it's with Lane, whether it's with, whoever, they're going to have to figure it out if they want to continue to be able to make some moves. So.
What about you, Art? Art, what do you got? What do you got when it comes to Zach Ertz? How do you feel Zach Ertz's story is going to end with the Eagles?
Hey guys, I'm losing the internet here. I got a thunderstorm just came up. It keeps breaking up on me. But I love Zach Ertz, what he's done for us. But I think his time has passed. We need to just cut bait and find another good tight end.
You mean just let him walk fully?
No, you can't let that
Well,
happen.
I don't know what we can get for him. We have to trade for something, but
yeah, and that's why I want to ask you guys this. I actually was talking to Dave Spadero, and we talked a little bit about the Zach Ertz problem there, and I actually mentioned that to him after off air, just to go a little deeper about that. He pretty much said, like, I don't want to say the wrong things because if he stays, I got to be in the locker room with the guy. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And I said, it's okay. I understand why you sidestep that type of question. However, he did say, you got to think of this. If the Eagles are trying to get something 4th round or lower, and it's not, and nobody's biting, which nobody seems to be because of the leverage. Zach Ertz already, wants to be out. Well, not wants to be out, but he wants a contract. It's not working. So when you look at that and all them situations, teams ain't trying to give you a 4th, a 3rd, a 2nd. So it's like 5th, 6th, 7th type offers, or maybe nothing. But you got to remember, if we just keep Zach Ertz and he plays. After this year, he's an unrestricted free agent, so it's going to do him well because we're not trading him to a bad team. Plus, we will get a conditional pick, and with I don't know what it would be, but it might be around a 4th or a 5th. So unless a team's going to offer us a 4th pick, a 4th round pick, or a 5th round pick, it'd be foolish for us to trade him for anything less than a 4th to a team you don't want to go to. When he can walk next year, we can get production out of him this year and get a conditional pick, wherever that sits. And then it also helps a guy who did a lot for the city. He can find his spot, who's going to pay him, and maybe he gets to a contender to win. So I really was on the mindset all through the end of the season and up until I talked to Dave Spadero that Dallas Goedert would be the guy. And if we do get Kyle Pitts, he might be the guy. And Zach Ertz was on his way out, but now I'm not so sure that Zach Ertz will be out. And again, I understand when I love him to death, but when it comes to the business decisions, it might have been smarter if we parted ways with Zach Ertz last year. His trade value was high. Probably could have got a second or a third. It wouldn't have fit well with the fans, but as things played out, maybe he got injured on his other team. Maybe he balled out. Who knows? I think it would have been a lot better. Just to clarify something with my guy Vic 3, though, I did a video on Kyle Pitts, and I said, although I love Kyle Pitts, I still have Jamar Chase a tick higher. Let me ask you guys this, though. The draft comes around. Zach Ertz is still on the roster. Does that change the Pitts lovers? Does that change? Even though he's only going to be on the squad for one more year, does that change, or AKE, you're still locked in with Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, man. Listen, in my mind, it's kind of like in Calvin Johnson aspect, as these players only come around once in a blue moon. 6'6", 250, 245, whatever he is, and he runs a 4.4. That doesn't happen often. So it's like I was saying the other day to somebody. I was like, you kind of have to take a chance on that. Whether it's good or it's bad. Hopefully it's good, not bad. But yeah, I just feel you have to take a chance on that, man, because that doesn't happen. It's not like next year some 6'6" dude's going to come out and do the same exact thing. So yeah, I'd still take him, because what are you going to do the following year? So I just let him learn behind Zach and Goddard for a year and then unleash him next year, or use him as a wide receiver one. You can shift him out of tight end, keep Ertz and Goddard in the middle, and shift him outside.
All right, now to rebuttal that, I'm going to ask Vic 3. And so you still you're picking Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase if he's there as well, right? You like Jamar Chase, but you still think Kyle Pitts would be the best pick if they're both on the board.
Who was that directed to me?
No, AK Eagle, before I go to you.
Yeah.
What?
So you would take Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase, or is that still something you're trying to iron out the details if they happen to both be on the board at 6?
I'm good with either one, man. I'm not picky. Trust me, I'm not. I want whatever, but
at this point, we can't be picky.
It's just, with Kyle Pitts, you can move him to wide receiver. You can't do that with Jamar Chase. You're not going to move him to tight end. Yeah, he gives you more options. That's my only thing. That's my only difference. You can use him in certain ways. You can scheme an offense around Pitts in a way you can't Chase, because you can move him so many ways, which gives so many different looks to an offense, which might benefit us. That's the only way I'm looking at it. But I am good with Chase no matter what. I mean, like I said, I'm not picky, man.
Okay, now Vic 3, I'm going to ask you this question because I know I see you in the chats. I see you on Twitter. You're adamant about the Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase thing. But before we get to the comparison, so if Jamar Chase is off the board, you still wouldn't want to take Kyle Pitts?
Nah, that's me. I'm going for the UFC tackle. Quick. He's top 15. I think he's probably the second best left tackle in the draft. So that's what I'm going with.
Slater?
No. Is this Slater? I thought it was Tucker for some reason. But yeah, he's a left tackle out of UFC. I just forgot his name for whatever reason.
So that's what you would do with the 6th pick.
Listen, why does everyone think the Eagles have a good line? Who gave y'all the false impression that our line was top notch?
I wouldn't say our line is good last year. I would say that if they could stay healthy, which if it was a 5th, we all be drunk. I understand all that. But at the end of the day, it's like, look, these are humans. We've been cursed. We've been going through medical staff. Now we're going through a coaching staff. I mean, it's not just the guys. It's something that we were doing because we see guys leave and get healthy and come and get injured. So it's like, are we? I mean, you would have to think that eventually we would be able to get off this injury bug. Now, certain players are just going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening too. But if you got the choice of Andre Dillard and or Jordan Mailata, you got the choice of, and then you got a steady Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey coming back for a year, Isaac Samalu, and now you got the Driscolls, the Herbigs, the either Dillard or Mulatto on the bench. I believe it's good. Now, is it good long term? No, it's not, because these guys are injury prone and aged. So I think we do have to keep that in mind, and I'm always willing to look at offensive linemen if these are generational talents. If it's a guy like who's going to who's going to be that Jason Peters, who's heading to the Hall of Fame, who just secured that left spot for a decade. You know what I mean? I'm always going to look at that. It's not the sexy pick, but I'll look at it. But I do believe if we're trying to win now, and we can stay healthy under this new coaching staff, maybe they bring the smoothies in. Maybe, I don't know. They got to do something to get these guys feeling right.
Can I say something real quick, bud? On that? Yeah, you know, on our offensive line, you know, we're getting Brandon Brooks and Lane Johnson back. You know, granted, with their injury history, that does have some concern. I understand that, you know. But if they do stay healthy, then right there, definitely, that's amazing. You know, I think real highly on Nate Herbig and Driscoll. You know, I believe them getting their experience last year really helped them, and getting Stoutland back this year. He already knows these offensive linemen, you know, so he's already a step ahead on that. So, you know, he already knows them, so he'll be able to teach them even faster this year than what he was last year. You know, I think our offensive line is actually a little bit better off, you know, going forward, you know, because like I said, yeah, the injury history is a concern, but if they come out and they're fine, we should be okay. I mean, yeah, I would put my lot at left tackle though, for sure. And I even put Dillard at right left guard. You know, if you could train Dillard to be a left guard, that might even work for him. I don't know, but Dillard's questionable, you know.
This is the one thing I'll say about our line.
That's a big if.
Mistakes of last year.
That's a big if.
Big if.
Yeah, it's if all the time. We do this every year. We're like a broken record. If we stay healthy, we never stay healthy. That's the mindset we need to have. We're not going to be healthy. We need to think about the next man going forward. We need to have right. That's the mindset we need to have, because we never had a track record. We never had a healthy track record. What was that?
I said I like to hope for the best and expect the worst. Wishful thinking.
But guess what? You got to expect the worst and hope for the best, because that's how you become prepared. If you ain't prepared, we're going to end up like we did last year. We were totally unprepared.
But Victory, let me ask you this. And yes, we were saying a lot of ifs. We're saying the same ifs now. But I will say this: from last year, us saying what we were saying, we still kind of saw we didn't see at the draft, but we saw the writing on the wall prior to the season starting. Now, again, the draft was already done, but we've seen Brandon Brooks go down in a non-contact injury before anything started. We heard rumors that Lane Johnson's surgery wasn't well and he just took his good old time to do it. So like we went in there optimistic with more ifs than I can say now, because of the fact that Lane Johnson missed his time at the end of the season, because Brandon Brooks didn't even play one down and got some time out. So they do have that injury tag. Yeah, he didn't play at all. They do have that injury. Say it again.
He shouldn't have played it all season. I mean,
Lane should have sat out more often. Yeah.
But wait, everyone's talking about Lane, but did you watch his interview with Busting with the Boys, where he literally explained that situation? That's why I kept on bringing it up to you. He had 2 surgeries. The Eagles botched the first one. They sent him to a doctor he didn't want to deal with. Messed that surgery up. They had to redo the surgery. So it wasn't that he didn't want to play or he was taking his time. No, we messed that up. There are issues with Lane Johnson. That whole contract situation. You see their issues. Our line, this team ain't sweet. This line ain't sweet. You got a vision of we're going to be healthy and we're going to be okay. We don't need we need all the help we can get. Build through these lines. I understand first round. If we can get Jamar Chase, that'd be great. But if he's not there and Pitts isn't there, we need to build with this line. We're not going to get anywhere if we don't.
Yeah. So just to get back to go ahead.
So the underlying thing is our medical staff could possibly be
how many times?
The whole time.
We changed them how many times?
We changed it like twice in the mix of all these injuries.
It doesn't get better than Chip Kelly's
2 bad apples in a row.
All right. So what else could it be?
The one thing I want to tip my hat off to is just that, look, we're coming into this season the brand newest we've ever been when it comes to just organizational decisions. And maybe it could be a philosophy. Maybe it's underworking out, overworking out, understretching, overstretching, diet. And I'm not saying Nick Sirianni is going to change all that, but he's definitely going to have a different flow in the NovaCare system. I mean, in the NovaCare complex, because we changed the medical staff multiple times and we continue to have the same injuries. Now, some of the same people are injured, but also we're getting guys again. Javon Hargrave played a full season for the Steelers, comes in injured. You know what I mean? Jordan Howard plays for the Bears, running through tackles 3 years straight, comes to us, shoulder out for a while. You know what I mean? Jordan Hicks, a guy who had talent but never could get to his full potential in Philly, goes to Arizona and he doesn't even know what the blue tent looks like. So it comes to me like we've been doing something wrong, whether it's the medical staff or the coaching philosophy. I mean, I don't care. Get these guys in yoga, do something different. You know what I mean? And hopefully Nick Sirianni read the scouting report, read the roster report. Dang, y'all lead the league in IR players every year. I'm going to have to change that. Let me implement something different. So before I cast off a Lane Johnson, a Brandon Brooks, these guys who keep getting hurt, I want to see this philosophy. It's a still big what if, but that's my take on that. But I would never turn down an offensive lineman because that's where you start. On the offensive side of the ball, on the defensive side of the ball, in the trenches, it will do wonders. Again, we can get away with suspect corners if we got a D line. You can get away with suspect, I want to say it, wide receiver play if you got an offensive line because they can only hold up for so long. So I want to fix a lot of things. But real quick, I want to ask Victory and then Artmaker. Art make peace. I mean, so Chase or Pitts though, you're 100% on Chase, Vic, right?
I'm on Chase. I'm not gonna have what is this 4 years in a row of us missing on the top wide receiver. So we're gonna do Howie's job for him and screw this draft up. We're gonna demand a tight end that is so proficient at being a tight end. We want to move him to wide receiver. That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
If his matchup, that's one thing I don't get. If his matchup, if he's an ultimate matchup as a tight end, why are we talking about moving my man to wide receiver? How does that make sense? He has speed. Then all that should be utilized in the tight end position. Now, right now, we have two tight ends. At the moment, we have Zach Ertz and we have Dallas Goedert. Somehow, this whole fan base forgot about Dallas Goedert.
Well, yeah, I would argue that. I want to get to my thing, and I want to elaborate on Kyle Pitts too. But Art, make peace. If you had to pick Kyle Pitts or Jamar Chase, your preference at 6, just say they're both there. Who you going?
I'd be honest. I'd take either one right now because I mean I like Chase better, but if he's already taken or whatever, I'll take Pitts.
So, but if given the opportunity, them both being there, who would you give the nod to? Because AK Eagle said the same thing. He said he'll take either or.
Chase.
So you'll go Chase too.
Well, I would rather have Chase.
Can't go wrong there. Like I said, a lot of people are down on Jamar Chase for being out that last year. Again, you know,
I keep knocking up.
It's all right. Like you said, you're going through a thunderstorm. But yeah, so to me, again, I did that Kyle Pitts video. I don't know if everybody in the chat or you guys seen it yourselves. However, I like him. He's a mismatch. He's a problem for the defense. I believe he can spend time outside. I don't know if he can do it full time. I have my doubts for full time. But that's the thing. Look at Zach Ertz. He's not a wide receiver, but you've seen him in packages line up outside. It might be once every 3 games, but he doesn't. I think Kyle Pitts is more versatile than Zach Ertz. But again, if you're going to limit him to the X wide receiver positions and his route tree, what he's been doing for the last couple years is tight end route tree, which I'm not saying he can't learn it. It's just what I'm saying is, to me, I think we really can't go wrong with the 6th overall pick unless we take a quarterback. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying the quarterback's going to be trash. I just think it's just that same carousel we're getting on. We're just adding to the quarterback factory. And to me, it's like, I do have my preference, though, out of Chase, Pitts, and Smith. I think right now my order, and it can change, but right now I still have Chase, then Pitts, and then Smith. And again, I always want to come out and say this right away. Smith accolades are there. I mean, not only was he the Heisman winning wide receiver in college in 2020, he had a pretty darn good season in 19 when he had Jerry Jeudy and Ruggs there and Waddle. Now he kind of broke out with Waddle going down. However, you can't discount what he did. It's been 20 plus years since a receiver won the Heisman. You got to give it to him. I just think, and again, don't kill me, I think that he can run any route tree, Devontae Smith. He can play X, but that's not where you really want him to be. And so what we drafted Jalen Reagor for was to be a broke man's Devontae Smith. And I'm not saying he's going to ever reach potential, not of Devontae Smith, but just as an NFL wide receiver or not. But it's like, man, Jamar Chase out there at the X position just is going to make everybody else's job easier. The same way Pitts would make the wide receiver's job easier, creating mismatches and getting double teamed. You know what I mean? So I think, and just to real quick talk on that one point, we do got Dallas Goedert, and I believe we're going to want to run some 12 personnel. But, you know, Dallas Goedert, a little injured in 2020, a little fumbly and droppy in 19, but he still shows me that he has potential. You know what I mean? Everybody shows injury on the Eagles in the last 3 years, so we can't use that as a downfall until we see him under this new regime, and that's my mind. But let me ask you, AK Eagles, where do you rank Dallas Goedert if he had to be a starting tight end? Where would you rank him amongst the tight ends, like top end, middle, or bottom end?
You know, I really like Dallas Goedert a lot. I really do. I believe his yards after catch is good. You know, he's not afraid to get in there and make contact. He doesn't avoid it. You know, he goes at it. We did have some fumbling issues there with him for a little while, you know, on top of the injury, but in my eyes, last year he seemed to cut down on those fumbles just a little bit, so that was good. You know, that was a good step forward. I'd put him in the top 15, maybe. You know, I'd say that'd be, I'd say that'd probably be on the lower end of the top 15. You know, probably around like 12, 13, 14, 15. You know, in there, but in the top 15. Maybe a little higher if you're nice, you know. But
if you're nice, like I said though, the crazy thing is, besides the drops and the fumbles, even in 2019, he kind of put up top 10 numbers, minus the fumbles and drops. And then 2020, he was ravaged with injuries. You know, he got punched in the face in the offseason. You knew things weren't going to go right for Dallas Goedert. I mean, he got beat up, for God's sake.
But I believe his potential is there, man. I do. I believe if he can get everything together, he's going to be nasty, man. You know, he really is. The potential is there. You know, if he can just get his head straight and get his football game on and do what he does, he's going to be a really nice successor to Zach Ertz.
There you go. There you go. So no Kyle Pitts right now. I'm just kidding. Art make peace.
I don't get into that argument, man. I'm not. That's why I said I'm even on both. Like, I know there's a huge Pitt follow fans, you know, and I know there's huge Chase. I'm not trying to get into that. So that's why I said I'm good on either one, you know.
I hear you. Art. So give me where you rank Dallas Goedert amongst the tight ends in the NFL if he had to be the starting guy.
In the NFL or just with
So there's 32 teams, you know, 32 tight ends. Where do you rank them? It don't got to be an exact number, upper, middle, bottom.
I think he has potential to be a top 10. He's, you know, from what he's showed so far, he has it. But I think a lot of our problems last year was Wentz and the play calls and everything else, and that messed everybody's up as far as our tight ends, our receivers, everything. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing our reboot with Hurts and whatever else our team puts together, because last year was just so demoralizing as far as the play. I mean, it was as an Eagles fan, and you know. after all these years, it was the first time I wanted to watch somebody else's game other than Eagles game. It was that bad for me.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. 'Cause we played so bad. I mean, and I've seen a lot of bad games over the years, but yeah, this season was the past season was the worst for me.
Yeah, I look at it, it's like, the total collapse, just with the fact that we ended with Carson Wentz on a high note, by just winning them last 4 games. Not really a high note because he got knocked out, but I'm saying the last time we saw him actually play was a high note. We made some moves, we got some speed, but like you said, I mean, from,
And
I think we were.
Wentz just
Go ahead.
went downhill. Once he got the contract, he should have never got the contract in the first place, to be honest, because he was already on a decline as far as his stats goes and his play. He already got hurt, one time, and then he got all this money. And it was just, I think it was poor management to jump the gun to make him our franchise quarterback and pay him all that money. And I'm going to get a lot of flack from people that are Wentz lovers from that, but that's just the way I feel. I don't think we spent money in the first place.
Hey, I mean, at this point, he's not here. I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, I just think that after the draft, we had so much optimism. But again, like I said, our optimism started getting nipped in the butt before the season started with the Brendan Brooks injured. Lane Johnson, whoopsie on the surgery. Whether, shout out to Vic for letting us know it was more the Eagles' fault. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We lost 2 of our best guys there, and then you just got the rotating door offensive line. Carson Wentz's struggles, Doug Peterson struggles, and still the crowd, and that's what gives me a little bit of optimism for 2021. And I want to ask you guys about that because listen, we had no offensive line, we had our quarterback playing bad, we had our head coach calling plays that wasn't tailored to this offense and this receiving core. You got Jalen Reagor, you got Quez Watkins, you got John Hightower, but I'm going to throw the screen passes to these 2, Greg Ward Jr. and Alshon Jeffrey. Go ahead, Alshon. Get -3 yards real quick. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like Alshon Jeffrey catching the screen passes. So with the bad play calling, bad quarterback play, horrible rotating door offensive line, the fact that we only ran Miles Sanders like 8 to 10 times a game, and the bad defensive play, we still won 4 games, and 4 games is not a lot, but it's still not that it wasn't the worst last year. And you got to look at the games we were in: Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Cincinnati. We tied, so they're flip flop away from wins and losses, and we played horrible. So I'm just saying, offensive line a little bit healthier, Jalen Hurts a little bit better than 2020 Carson Wentz. The wide receiver, just you get that stuff. 4 games can turn to maybe 7, 8. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of people are thinking that we are going to come out and be another 3 or 4 win team again. I'm a little bit more optimistic to like the 7+. I'm not saying we're gonna, I'm not saying we are or we're not going to make a ride to the playoffs.
I think
I see scenarios where it could be really good, or it could be like still there's a lot of brand new stuff. You're going to take your growing pains. I think we really do go as far as Jalen Hurts. I think if Jalen Hurts is a B+ or better, we can take the step. If he's a C or D quarterback, and I'm not going to get so mad at him for it because it's really his rookie year. You know what I mean? So C or D, 4 to 7 games. B+, we win more than 8. You know what I mean? That's my take. Let me start with Vic 3. What's your take on the Eagles, season? I mean, give me a reason for it to be good or bad.
There's a lot of reasons to be good. We got a lot of young talent at wide receiver so that we got last year. We got a new quarterback. I mean, he's pretty much unproven at the moment. There's a lot to be excited about, and there's a lot to be worried about. As Eagles fans, we're always going to tend to go to the worried first. But there's a lot of promise on this team. Let's not get it twisted. Although we don't know what we have in Jalen Hurts, we still have the promise of something good that could come out of this. I mean, Quez, you were talking about before, Quez Watkins. Didn't get to play much last year, but he showed some flashes. Reagor, another person we didn't get to see much, had a little bit less flashing, but hey, if you see him on Twitter, he's talking that game that he wants to rebound this year. So John Hightower, if anyone out of all three would probably was most consistent, John Hightower. Not saying much, but that's still a positive. So there are things to look at on the bright side, and there's some things to worry about. But if anything, for me, I'm more optimistic than anything. I understand what we're going through. This is a rebuilding year. We got a quarterback that's basically, I don't know, in my eyes, this year for him is a prove it year. He got a second string quarterback that is not going to compete with him. So he's not gonna have to worry about that. Offensive line is what it is. So we're gonna have to work with that. The team is what it is. Now, everything's put in Jalen's hands. Let's see where he can take it. If he doesn't do what he needs to do this year, whatever the Eagles feel that is, I think next season when we go in draft time around this time, we're going to be picking a quarterback. But as for our season, like I said, we have a lot of promising bright spots. It's going to be a good year. I said it before. I figure like an 8-8. It's going to be in so. You know, we have a new coach trying to figure out his way. We have a team trying to figure out their way. I don't see them coming out week one and just, you know, having a four-game winning streak. They're going to have growing pains. They're a new team. They're getting to know each other. Coaching staff is trying to get to know the players. But I think it's going to be a promising year.
There you go. AK Eagle, what's your take on this year? You give me your take, and then also reasons that we would be good or reasons that we would just fall apart.
Well, first off, I want to start by saying, you know, I really feel positive on the coaching aspect. You know, the energy that Nick Sirianni and these coaching staff bring to these players is going to be awesome. You know, so I think that'll fuel them more to play for them. You know, you'll see a lot of energy on the field, probably a lot more big hitting, hopefully. Back to our old school days, you know, a little more pop behind the hits. But you know, I see us going. I see Vic's point, you know, and I agree with him to a point, you know, that we are going to have our struggles some games, you know. I expect us to start out pretty hot though, because no one knows us, so people are gonna, you know, not know how to scheme our offense for the most part at the beginning. So, you know, I'd say 2-1, maybe 3-0 possibly at the start, you know, maybe. But 2-1 is probably more realistic. But I saw somebody in the chat said that, you know, we have one of the easiest schedules this year, you know, so we do have some experience on this team, you know, a lot of dudes that we count on to pull our locker room together, you know. And if they do that and things can get back to the way it was and this coaching staff works out in the way we all hope it does, you know, we can, I'm with you, Mike, we can be an 8-9 team because I think we got one extra game this year, right? So, yeah, one extra game. So I believe we could be 8-9, but I mean, if they pull this stuff together though and they come out and, like you said, Hurts is playing at a really high level and he's everything we hope he is, you know, we could possibly be looking at maybe 10 wins, you know. I don't know. You know, it just all depends on how far they're willing to go and how much work these guys put in the offseason. And, you know, we all know Hurts is putting that in right now. So hopefully that shows on the field. And if it does, we'll be good.
All right, Art. Where do you think the Eagles are headed?
Well, here's all the ifs again. If coaching staff, you know, puts together a good game plan, if the players stay healthy that we got, if the draft is good and we get some good, you know, fill some positions we need, it's all these ifs. If all that comes together, I can see us winning, you know, at least, you know, doing a 500 season. You know, what was it, 17 now? So 8 and, like he was saying, 8-9. You know, or maybe 9-8, whatever that comes out to. If not, you know, we get injuries like we always do and everything falls apart, we might be back to 3 or 4 wins and have to jump in the next year or the following year and start all over again, trying to rebuild some more. You know, I mean, it's too many ifs. There's no way to predict what this team's going to do. I mean, it's so out there right now.
And that's exactly where I feel. I think Vic 3 kind of talked on that. AK Eagles, same with R. He finished it off. We are a totally unknown factor. Like I said, if as a realist, I'm thinking 7 or less games is a very high possibility. Again, if we start getting the same things that we keep saying is not going to happen, but it keeps rearing its ugly head, we have the offensive line problems, the quarterback, coaching is still not maybe as bad as Doug was at the end, but still not up to par because he's brand new. We don't got defensive pieces, and you can find yourself losing some games. However, last year we had a first place schedule. This year we're having a last place schedule. That comes into play too. The only reason, and I agree, Merjuana, I always really mess up your name, but I agree we can easily see ourselves 3, 4, 5 wins. You know what I mean? Easily. But if you also are thinking like last year, the Eagles team absolutely stunk. Absolutely stunk. We still tied a team and still won 4 games. So if we play a little bit better, if we just stay a little bit more healthy, I'm not saying 100% healthy. So there got to be some type of optimistic thinking of a 6, 7, 8 win season. If a little luck goes our way with injuries, if coaching staff is half decent, and if these players are used, like, listen, how many games do we win if we just run Miles Sanders 5 more times a game? Maybe he gets injured from that, but we don't know. But how many games do we win if we add a little bit more rush attack? How many games do we win if just one bad thing don't happen? And so it's a lot of ifs. But there's things that I can see in this team from the remaining people here, from what I hear from the coaching staff, because we don't know nothing. We hear Jonathan Gannon is a high energy, got a lot of charisma, adapts with his players. Anthony Harris seems to like him. We hear this stuff, but we got to go out there and put it in between the lines and see it on the grass. Go ahead.
Got a question for you, man, and it's an honest question. And I thought about this the other day. All right. How many coaching changes do you think we go through before we get this right? Do you think Nick Sirianni is the man to get this right? Or do you think we have another one in like 2 or 3 years from now before we actually get it right?
That is a really good question. After I go, I want Vic 3 and Art Make to go. Here's my thing. I think that's really more of a question after like a quarter of a season. You can say that because you really can't say anything unless you're talking about a coach who came over. Like, when Ron Rivera came to the Washington football team, you already had that sample size of what he likes to do. Tough nose, defense, blah, blah, blah. We really don't know. We know what Nick Sirianni likes in X and O's. We kind of seen what the Colts look like. But again, that was Frank Wright's scheme. But when offensive coordinators tend to get a job, they normally take what they've done, so a little bit what Frank Wright did, a little bit what the Chargers did. That is kind of what I think you're going to see, because he's not going to just make his own thing up. What he does is you're going to tweak the system best. And you probably know the system best that you spent most time in. So I want to say that I'm optimistic about this team, about this coaching staff. They're very young, which is, it's concerning that you don't have Joe Flacco's as old as everybody on all the coaches.
Right. Exactly.
But I want to say this. I really can't give an exact answer that I will try to put my money on until a quarter of the season. And even still, that's kind of early. But I would hope, because once you become that team that got to keep replenishing coaches, you can forget the talent. You're not a great destination to get free agent players, and you start dwindling away. Then that might be the only thing that gets Howie out there. I don't know. But I want to hear your guys' take on it real quick. Shout out to my guy Joseph Vega with the $5 super chat. He said, Mike, wrong, brother. Eagles will go 11-6. No way we are a 500 team unless we have a lot of injuries. This team will be very prepared to reboot the 2017. We will gel. And my God, Joseph Vega, there's nothing more in me that wants to see that happen. I want to see Nick Sirianni just grab the bull by the horns and take over this team. Jalen Reagor's looking like, we do draft that playmaker at 6. Jalen Hurts comes out looking like a young Russell. the offensive line stays intact. If some of them things I said happen, well then yeah, I'm right with you. But you know, I
Like
gotta
you said,
see
though,
it.
Mike,
There's
it
too many
all
unknowns.
depends on Jalen.
There you go. It's up to Jalen. We got a lot of Jalen's, you know. Well, we lost one Jalen and Jalen Mills. So we got to get Jalen Waddle just to get that 3-piece Jalen, I guess. I'm just kidding. But Vic 3, what is your take? Like you said, do you can't, I mean, like, there's a way I couldn't answer it, but how do you feel about this coaching staff in general? Then we'll say that.
Well, to answer his question, 75% of the NFL asks that question every day. Is this the right coaching staff? 25% of that changes their coaching staff every year. So that's a question that's constantly being asked. What's the right fit? Who are the right coaches? Are they young enough? Are they old enough? Right now, people are taking a look at what they're doing in LA with Sean McVay, and now they're copying it. That's why we have a young coaching staff. They want a lot of high energy guys. They want a lot of knowledgeable guys. I mean, they don't want those old guys who've been around and long in the tooth. They want something new and fresh. As for this coaching staff, I'm very excited. You mentioned Gannon before. He's a high energy guy. I saw that video with him welcoming Harris. Everything looks good. But the thing is, we won't know anything until week 1. We can speculate, we can think we know what we want, but we're not going to know anything until we actually see them play. What we perceive or what they're perceiving or what they're showing, everything looks great. High, like I said, high energy. They look like they know what they're doing. As for Nick Sirianni, I just want to make one correction that he's not running Frank Reich's system. He's running a system that he created with Frank Reich. So he's bringing his system over. He's not bringing Frank's system. He's bringing his own system over here. He's going to, branch off. He's not going to do the same thing Frank did. He's going to branch off on his own version. But that was something they both created. They sat down and they created that. So I'm going to give Nick credit for that.
Yeah, but you also got to understand. I think they design plays together, but still, Frank. I think what a lot of head coaches do is like, look, this is a type of offense we want to run, and nobody creates nothing. Like, they always take something, whether it's a spread, a West Coast, whatever they do. But I think Frank's offense looked a little bit like Doug's, a little bit like everything Frank knew. So again, the play calling aspect is going to be new for him. Is he going to call the right plays at the right time, timeout usage, all that stuff? But yeah, Vic, I will give you that. We can't knock down that Nick was involved in the play designing, and that's why I believe his X and the O's are there.
And I think that's something we have to look forward to. We have the man who helped him create that. We don't have the guy who was just funneling off of what the information he was fed and going off of that and trying to create. We have the man who actually created that. So hopefully it works out for us.
Go ahead, Art. Let us know how you feel about this coaching staff, just from what you hear and see.
All right. So this is my take on all right, Sirianni. So with Sirianni, okay, remember when Dougie P first came to Philly? His first year, he was ranked dead last, and Philly wanted to drive him out of the city, right? And then we ended up winning the Super Bowl. And then he just declined somehow. I don't know if it was him or whatever, up till this past season. So I don't know. I know Sirianni. I like his outtake on how he's going to change up, his play calling. I don't know if it'll work with players we got. I like what he did, where he's going to take the assets he's got and the best of the players he's got, and try to make something out of that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that work if we make it work. But just remember, Doug's first year, we were ready to throw him out of Philadelphia too. So, same thing with Sirianni.
Yeah, we didn't even want Doug. Like the funny thing is this though. When we hired Doug, nobody else interviewed him, and he was like our last resort. You do know that the Eagles had these two coaches in mind. Like, Adam Gase was legitly about to be the Eagles head coach, and Adam Gase said,
Right.
No. Do you know who our second runner-up was? Ben McAdoo. The guy who just flamed out for the Giants. And then when Ben McAdoo didn't come to us, we were like, I guess we'll take Doug. And I'm not saying we're not saying Nick Sirianni's that type, because we had other options out there when we went Nick Sirianni. However, no other team, We were talking about the Jets who hired a coach, the Falcons who hired their coach. At all 6 teams that were looking for a coach, nobody called Nick Sirianni. Now, he wasn't our last choice because we still had others out there. Whether it was right or wrong, we still had the Chiefs guy. You had the Chiefs guy. What's his?
Brian Dable. You had Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of guys out there. I think Dan Quinn had just gotten fired. There was a possibility with Dan Quinn also. Yeah, there was a lot of coaching. There was a lot of coaching names being thrown around.
And so we get Nick Sirianni, who wasn't our last choice, but he's definitely was a guy who didn't get a call from nobody else. So nobody, the Arthur Smith, I forgot the Jets guy, the guy from the Niners defensive coordinator.
Salah.
It's almost like history repeating
itself. Robert Saleh, yeah.
Well, and honestly, Mike, if you look at our history, dude, we're known to do that. Andy Reid, no one ever called him. Dougie P, same way.
We're just
known to do that, and for some reason it works out. I don't know if it's shit luck or what, but I mean it works out. So, I think nothing but high on this coaching staff. I agree the youngness does concern me a little bit, but I also know that we're good at figuring shit out too, So when it comes to problem solving, maybe that's just what we need. But yeah, man, no, I really think highly of the coaching staff. I do.
And it might work better having a younger coaching staff with a younger player base too. Almost like going back to college level. They can relate better. And maybe make some shit happen.
And I believe Brandon Johnson too, man, as their QB coach, really will help Hurts in the long run as well. There's a lot of familiarities there. He's very familiar with them, so that can only help Hurts as well. So I believe they did a good thing. We'll just see how it goes.
And for us, it helped out a lot that those first coaching choices that we had never worked out, because if they did, we would never have a Super Bowl right now.
True.
A lot of times, Doug didn't help himself. When Doug first came in, he didn't help himself give a perception of he was a very smart guy or articulate guy. Everyone saw him as a bumbling idiot. That was the biggest problem. Kind of like how you see Nick Sirianni now. His first press conference, he couldn't get a word out. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't. But again, that doesn't matter. What the man looks like, or if he seems like a fool or he seems like a meathead, so what? You know what that tells me? That man's all about football for the most part.
Man, I'll tell you.
I want a meathead in the locker room. That's what I want.
Right. That is the one thing I will miss about Doug, man, is that Dougie chuckle. Every time you ask him a question, he sits there, he's like,
that blank stare.
I loved it. He was just very slick with it.
That simple Jack stare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Real quick, shout out to Joseph Vega again with another $5 super chat. He said, I say that because we have a lot of young, hungry underdogs. People say we are trash 4 wins. We always been good at being underdogs, proving people wrong. I will say this,
Sure.
under Chip Kelly's first year, under Doug Peterson's first year, we do pretty good once we get that first year turnaround. Whether it's the first year not that good, we're still not like a 4-win team normally under our last couple coaches, whether it be Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, Doug Peterson. We normally turn it around. If not year 1, year 2, we start to get that. And listen, you could say what you want about Chip Kelly, the GM. Chip Kelly, the GM, is a lot of things. But as the football coach, he put us in the right situation year 1 and 2 when it comes to football. I wasn't great. I wasn't that happy on the hurry up offense all the time because it made our defense tired. But I'm saying winning football games, Chip Kelly did good. It wasn't until he started being that head coach / GM and Lori gave him to the key to the city, and he started making horrible decisions with guys like LaShawn McCoy, Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, and bringing Trashwell in here, Maxwell, bringing Kiko Alonso, and there's guys that we were able to get off. Then eventually, Howie Roseman did a great job getting rid of Kiko Alonso and Brian Maxwell that all season. My goodness.
Oh, and you forgot DeMarco Murray. That trade, that's what got us Carson Wentz.
Bro, I wish we had a machine that could wipe brains, because I would go back and completely wipe that section of history Eagles out of my mind. I did not like that at all. Especially with the things you were talking about, the trading Deshaun Jackson and McCoy. I mean,
But
it's ridiculous.
aside of the trades, when we got DeMarco Murray, we were excited. We were amped. We hated him in Dallas, but as soon as he signed, we were all about DeMarco Murray. Everybody was buying jerseys.
The drive
let me
was not there, man. The drive was not there.
Oh, yeah.
Let me say two things real quick. Two things. One, we just got a couple channel members in the building, Jalen Williams and Philly 52. He just tried to join, but his device was not connected. So Philly 52, if you're back in the regular stream listening, you just have to have a cell phone, a computer, anything, but you just got to make sure your mic or camera's on. You don't have to have your camera on, but you have to have your mic on at least. So if your mic's on, it will work pretty good, and try to come back in. But to your point, Vic 3, I mean, DeMarco Murray was coming off that, big year in Dallas. But remember, he had the Great Wall of China blocking for him, and he was a North and South guy. I really didn't understand getting rid of LaShawn for him for the simple fact that Chip Kelly is a East to West guy. He's about speed. He's about matchups. He's about open space. And I'm like, you're bringing in the guy who just wants to run in the I formation. And I didn't understand, because you don't take an I formation running back and DeMarco Murray and then line him up in shotgun next to the quarterback going east and west. You know what I mean? So I think that was a total disaster. But I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't a little excited about just the fact that we took him away from Dallas, I guess.
I was excited, man, but what also had me worried is that year prior, didn't he have like 300 carries that previous year?
Yep, that was the big talk. The fact that anyone over 300 carries was the next year.
Yeah, I was like, I love that signing. I was like, but damn, did they not just kill his legs? Like,
see, the sad thing about Chip Kelly was he had the team he's always wanted. He just gave it away.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's where I think he got a little big-headed. I think he could have been better suited if he just tried to stay a coach. But, when you get in and tap on the shoulders and offer the key to the city because everybody thought it was the brand new thing, to hurry up offense all the time, this, that, and the third, it goes a long way until the NFL catches up. So what I always try to say is that the NFL does things a certain way. You can come in and tweak it. But when you try to be that guy who says, I'm going to do something totally different, you might look good for a little bit, but you're going to end up looking bad. You can only tweak the NFL system. It's still the NFL for a reason.
Well, I think Chip Kelly did change. He did change the NFL, because if you look at the way sports nutrition is treated in the NFL, the way practices are run in the NFL, that's all Chip Kelly. Music, everything that's all Chip Kelly. Now, in reference to games, he had no effect on that. Now, anything else, I'm pretty sure the players are happy for what he did, because they get more rest. They probably get more things that are beneficial to their career. But that's the only way Chip changed the game. His offense, I think this is one of the biggest problems we have. As you said, he was given the keys. And who does that? One of our biggest problems, it's not Howie, it's going to be Jeffrey Lurie. Jeffrey Lurie constantly makes decisions that hurts this team, and it isn't like 1 or 2 seasons. It sets us back a very long time. That whole Chip Kelly thing set us back about 4 years. And I'm hoping that he doesn't continue making decisions by allowing Howie to stay around. I think that's his biggest mistake right now. As you said before, we only go as far as Jalen Hurts can carry us. We're only going as far as Howie Roseman sets us up.
Yeah, it's true. Again, I want to say this, and I want to get your takes on Jeffrey Lurie as the owner. When I look at him, again, he's owned the Eagles for a long time now. I think he's been a good guy. He's always been good to let the people who he pays do what he needs to do. I was surprised that he came out and publicly said, hey, guys, I want you to build around Jalen Hurts. I don't want y'all focusing on the quarterback. Now, as an Eagle fan who don't want a quarterback, I like it. But I think it starts to get mucky. And again, the owner should be able to do whatever he wants, honestly, because he's the owner. You know what I mean? I'm going to do what I want. But I think the best businesses, I'm talking like Google, Apple, all that stuff, a highly ran manufacturing company is good when you get that. When you're the CEO and you hire people to run your business, you got to put the faith in them. If you don't like what they're doing, get new people in. Or commit yourself, fully go into the Jerry Jones mode. I don't want him to, you know what I mean? Get inside and get your hands dirty. I think that, as a fan, and that's why I kind of contradict myself when I was on that moment. And I said, I like that we're probably going to build around Jalen Hurts, but I don't want Jeff Lurie to get too used of just, getting this, just coming in, saying something and bouncing, because like, you're doing your thing. You're living your life. You're a millionaire. You're not the football guy that is going to do it for his job. Like, you make a mistake, it's your business. I mean, you don't want to, but I think it's different. I think we need to get more football guys in there, whether it's over Howie Roseman or working with them. I just need more football minds in there. I believe that's just my thought. What are you thoughts on Jeff Lurie?
Go ahead, Vic.
Jeff Lurie is what he is, man. He's a Hollywood producer. He's California. You know what I mean? He's used to being in the wineries, hanging out. The Eagles are just something that gives him money. The only time you see Jeffrey Lurie come out is when the fan base goes wild and really upset. And he says his one thing to calm everyone down. Jalen Hurts is our starter. Don't worry about it. We're not going to give you the same problems we did with Carson. Set everything up for him. That's what the fans want. That's what the fans get. What he doesn't understand is that he doesn't listen to the fans. And when you come out and you're waiting till the fans get all irate and going crazy, and that's when you want to say something, by then we're deaf. We don't want to hear nothing anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Real quick, shout out to my guy Eagles Flyers, hashtag Brian Fuller with the $5 donation. Actually, a channel member, like I said, channel members that were coming in and people who watched on the rerun. I did talk about in the beginning, we're going to start to do these at least once every 2 weeks. I want to get it done at least 2 times a month. We'll see different faces. We'll see multiple people in here, because I think last time we did it a while back, we had like 6 or 7, 8 people in here. So like I said, I have a decent amount of channel members, and I know not everybody feels comfortable coming on and doing this, but I think we're going to start doing this. Whether it's the same guys every 2 weeks, it's cool. You know what I mean? But we're going to start getting some more. So channel members, just tap into that. Make sure your community posts are on, because I do a lot of it in the community post. Bang, let me say something, see what y'all do. I'm going to try to start setting stuff up. Like if I know we're going to go Thursday, I'll put a community post once a day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, giving you guys heads up time so we can find it where we can get like 8 heads in here and talk our talk. You know what I mean? Because we got to figure out schedules, but we're just doing it once every 2 weeks. I think we can find a good common ground. Shout out to Eagles Flyer. He said, "What up, guys? Deuces to Vic 3. Fly Eagles fly."
Thank you.
So go ahead, AK Eagle, your take on the notorious Jeff Lurie. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm with Vic on this, man. I get it. I mean, if he did it just to make sure Howie Roseman doesn't screw something up again, I mean, I guess I can understand that. If he's adamant about Hurts, and he just wants to make it clarifying and put it out in public so he can be like later, hey, I told you, then whatever. But no, I agree with Vic, man. Just, you hire Roseman to do a job, and you gotta let him do it, whether or not that's what we want. That's a scary thought, but no, we should have kept John Dorsey, man, and we should have traded Howie Roseman to the Lions.
And it was crazy because a lot of Eagles content creators quickly came on. Shout out to my guy Philly the podcast. He was one of them. Real quick, he with a $2 donation saying, "What's good, guys? Coming through to show some love." But Eagle content creators, when John Dorsey came, we were talking about the draft picks. We were like, yeah, it's good. Right. Even if he has some influences on how he helps with scouting or something, boop, goes to the Detroit Lions. We were like, here we go. We're stuck with Howie. And I think we were more scared. Yeah, you're right. We were more scared about the quarterback being at 6 earlier, but now it's a little different because you got to remember, we heard Jeff Lurie come out and say that. We've seen Joe Flacco be signed. So I think now will be the best time to just say, you know what? If there was any chance that we're not going to take the quarterback, we have to feel the most excited about a skilled player or a defensive player for people who want defensive player possibility. Now than we did previous. We felt pretty good with John Dorsey. It got a little scary, and we're back to feeling a little bit good just because, Lurie came in and dipped his hands in the pot and said off limits. But real quick, shout out to Joseph Vega with another $5 super chat. He said our offense is set. We need a corner. We need our corner. A front 4 is really good. Hurts isn't the only one working this hard, this hungry this year. The rise of the birds. I love it. And shout out to Dave Spadero. He said a little bit on the podcast, but talked a little bit more backstage with me too. He thinks that Javon Hargrave is going to take that next leap. He really feels good about it. He's in the locker room. He gets a little sense more than what we got. And, he's not always right. He could be wrong too. But, Hargrave came into the season always healthy, finally hurt, learn a new system, COVID-19, in a rotation with Malik. I think now is the time Hargrave makes his money. If not, well, then it was just like, thanks a lot, Howie Roseman. Kind of bad. I want to get y'all take on the D-line and Hargrave. But before, Joseph Vega, new channel member. Shout out to my guy, Joseph Vega, for becoming a Philly Talk podcast member. Listen, guys, everybody in the chat, the link is in the description. If you want to become a member, we're going to be doing these at least twice a month. Well, yeah, twice a month. I almost lost track. Twice a month. And I want to get as many people on. Like I said, we can get up to 9 people, including me as the 10th person. We might do ones where it's just me and one other person, me and 5 other people, me and 9 other people. But we're going to mix and match it. And the ones who want to come on every single time we do it, as long as there's a spot open, we got you. So, Victory, Hargrave, D-line. Is it going to be better or worse, or what's your take on it?
I think Hargrave has a lot to prove this year, like you were saying, man. He's not really a guy who's injured a lot. He takes a lot of pride in his work, and I think he's going to come out this year and he's going to prove a lot of haters wrong. Fletcher Cox, he is what he is right now. I mean, he's an aging lineman. I hope he has left in the tank for this season. He's my biggest question mark on the line, aside of Brandon Barnett. Graham, I'm always high on Graham. I can never count that man out. You know what I mean? He's a high motor guy. I love him on this team. He's a great locker room guy. Exactly. He eats. He gets it in. Everyone else on the line, I think the D-line itself, they'll be stable. We'll be good with the D-line. Corner, that's everything else. Linebacker, whole different situation. But I think we have a promising defensive line this season.
Yeah.
If healthy, correct. If healthy.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the motto of this season. If.
Yeah, it's not a blah 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 blah. If healthy, blah 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 blah.
If dot.
No, I hate going after Vic, man, because he takes the words right out of my mouth every time. No, it's true. Our defensive line, Hassan Ridgeway, I really feel, he could have a good year. It all depends on him. Hargraves, I have a lot of high hopes for, especially if he can do what he did in Pittsburgh, the previous year before we got him. He's really good against the run defense, really good. So, he might not accumulate all the stacks that we want, but as long as he's a powerhouse in the run game, he'll do really well. I'm a real big supporter of Josh Sweat. I love Josh Sweat. Hopefully his knees hold up, but love watching that man eat. Barnett, if he doesn't come out and start playing real well, I'd make that switch in a heartbeat. I'd give Sweat the opportunity, especially if Barnett is not producing at the beginning, But yeah, man, I think we're good.
Yeah. And the sad part is this: if he ends up playing on a $10 million deal, Howie Roseman is still involved. He puts the people on the field who cost the most money. That's why JP played over people. That's why Alshon came in and ruined TF13's growth. It happens like that. So unless we somehow get that $10 million deal down, which I don't know if we can anymore. I glanced on reports. I'm not sure. I would have to read more before I can say. And if anybody in the chat or you guys know, let me know if we can still do it. Because I know we extended them the 5th-year option, but I thought we have a certain time frame where we can discuss that 10 million still. Whether we try to extend it for 1 year on the 10 million or 2 years and try to make it lower. I don't know. I don't know at this point.
Restructure him, can't you?
Yeah, they can give him a bonus.
Do that too. But once you, I don't think you extend and restructure at the same time. I think the extension, because that's the available thing, is that's where you can work it out and try to say, we want to give you on a 2-year deal, little money up front and get more in the back end. But that's also taking a risk on keeping him that long. He can also be traded. You know what I mean? There's still, you know, a little bit of dead money, but you'll still probably gain something, especially if we believe in, you know, Josh Sweat. Again, Hassan Ridgeway is going to be that third piece on the D line at the D tackle position. Again, when healthy, was a little productive. Again, a lot of dots if healthy. That's what it comes down to. And I've said this last offseason, and I wasn't doing this long enough to say it before, but I'm saying it to the people that will listen to me. The Eagles' best pickup this year would be just being healthy. You know what I mean? If we could just stay healthy, it's going to be just as impactful as the 6th overall pick. A bucket of health would be just as impactful as a 6th overall pick because it's keeping these guys healthy. Real quick, though, this is the interesting question because my take on the Eagles, you know, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, people were talking about fire sales, you know, possible big play Slay getting traded, possible Fletcher, possible this, possible that. My mindset always been is I want to go in as a winning with a winning mindset. I think though, you know, the trade deadline is always about halfway throughout the season, 7, 8 games, 6, 7, 8 games. So if we start the season and we really see we're a long way away from being a decent team or competing, that's when I think you can pack it in early with the older players. I think if the Eagles start 1-4, 1-5, we look bad, but we're not like bad per se, but we're just not there yet, and we're losing games, and this season is kicked down, is done. That's where you start looking at the 30-year-old players like, look, we're done this season. We might be a little bit better next year, but we're not going to start competing into the 3rd year of Nick Sirianni. And so is Fletcher Cox going to be available 3 years from today? Big play Slay, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson. So I think if the Eagles start out playing football the way they want, you keep it together because these guys can move a little longer. But I think you always question the people over 30 when you see this team going south early. With that being said, what do you think a Fletch value would be on the trade market today? That's what Bleeding Green from Texas wants to know.
It would not be high. It would not be high at all. You can't expect. I'm gonna say probably like a 5th.
Huh?
Listen, what are we getting out of? What are we getting out of Earths? We're not gonna get what, less than a 4th. If you honestly think we're getting more than the 4th for Cox,
he's under contract though, and he doesn't want to leave. Like
but I'm saying the value. I'm talking about people looking out, trying to call the Eagles for Cox, or the Eagles trying to get rid of Cox.
Well, here's the thing. If we let people know that, yeah, we're not that good anymore, or yep, we only won 1 game. I think Fletcher Cox on a team that needs defensive line help, needs a run defense. I mean, he could be the piece to a winning organization. And what I'm saying is, what he lacks in his later years at rushing the passer, he's still probably the best or top 3 in run defense. The dude is 2/3 of the line himself. I mean, the Eagles' run defense severely struggles when he goes out for just 1 or 2 snaps. Boop, big opening gapes up the middle. So my take would be is I still think, you know, a guy like a team like Green Bay, who legitly can't stop the run last year, they get Fletcher Cox, you know, that shoots him up. And what's that worth to him at that point when Green Bay's 7-1 and we're 1-7? What's that worth to them? If we have him under contract, see, Zach Ertz is already made it public. We're not going to pay him. He wants out, all this stuff. That's why you said his value was higher a year ago. This is kind of where Fletch is if we are losing in the beginning of the season.
Well, that's why I asked, are they calling us, or are we trying to get rid of Fletch? If they're calling us, it's a 3rd round pick. That's why we're starting off the negotiations at. If we're trying to get rid of him, it's a 5th round pick. They know we're going to want him.
Oh, my man, Vic Lee would be selling you.
It is what it is. You can't. You honestly think someone's going to call us and be like, "We're going to give you a 2nd for Fletcher right now"? If you did, I'm guarantee you, there's someone that needs help that probably already made that call.
Yeah, but
Well,
look at this real quick before you go, AK Eagle. The Patriots gave up a 2nd-round pick for Mohamed Sanu.
Now, oh well, I get it. No, that's desperate. That's exactly what I mean. That's desperation. That's if the Patriots call and say, "Hey, we need Fletch. We're going to start off at a second, fam." Because
but that's what he's saying though. That's what he's saying though. He said if we're 1-7, then they're 7-1. That's what he's asking.
But even though we're going to be at a disposition, so they're not going to try to come. They're not trying to waste a high pick.
So like,
here's the way I look at it, man. It all depends on the team. Okay, and the reason that I say that is, say we are 1-7 and they're 7-1. Okay, say it's the Cardinals. All right, they have J.J. Watt, they have all that, but they're 7-1. All right, their DT goes down, and all of a sudden everything's going haywire. They might trade a first or a second for Cox, knowing that we are 1-7, because Cox is an animal. He is a beast, and if he's that last missing piece for their Super Bowl run, just like we kind of did with Jay Ajayi in 2017, they will fork that over if that is their only missing piece, especially if they're
first is a far stretch.
That's a stretch. Look, let me
stretch, but it is possible.
Well, this is the picture I'm trying to paint. It's like this. First of all, if the Eagles start out 1-5, it's just an ugly number. We're not saying, well, we're waving a red flag, we're done. Yeah. But what we do is we let Howie, and how it always is, how he always does, and how Philly media or any media for any city does. What they say is, the Eagles are looking to acquire draft picks and players are open. That's it. Yeah. We don't name nobody, but the smart people in the other people's organization says this: who are their older players and what do they have left? And again, if you are a team that has pieces around but need a position, I think then you are good. Again, Ertz is out the window because we lost the PR battle. It was too public. It got ugly, and he has only 1 year left. I don't know what Fletch got, to be honest. But my thing is, I honestly believe,
I think he's got 2.
Was it how many?
I think he's got 2.
Oh, okay, yeah.
2 years, and a guy who's shown he will restructure with the Eagles, who does get paid pretty handsomely and stuff. So I think all that comes into play when you're looking at that one final piece, because it's situational. And I agree with you, Vic. If we're calling and shopping people, we look like you don't call somebody up and say, hey, you want these shoes? I'm going to overprice you these shoes. You know what I mean? Like, you already put them on. If you're putting it on the market, you already dented it. You know what I mean? You take a new car off the lot. As soon as you take it off, you didn't do nothing. It's already lost market value, something along them lines. You don't allow it. So that's how I would go about it. If the Eagles stink and we want to get younger, and we're looking at everybody who's 30 and over, because the level of stink we see is not going to get better until 2 or 3 years. Well, then everybody who's 30, 31 are really questionable. So you make the PR say, I'm open to talking about people. Come at your own will. And when you come with Fletch, they call and say, hey, Fletch, you'll be like, oh, whoa, but Fletch is the sole leader of our defense. I don't know if we can go there unless you say something like this. You know what I mean? And I think guys like Fletch is going to command that. Now, BG, being a guy who's a high energy guy, but, is older, probably going to, I don't know. We just extended him 2 years, so that's different and all that. I just think that people make moves when they need something, but I'm not going to say first round pick. I would say, second or third. But you also got to remember this too: if the team that's getting them is going to compete, a late first round is dang near a second. You know what I mean? A 29th overall pick is what's that different than the 8th overall pick? In the second round.
Well, and that's what I was saying. Like, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Let me ask you a question though.
Later in the year, you might be desperate, especially if you're looking to make that run. I mean, it is what it is, bro. Like I said, the chance is there. It just all depends on the team. Because listen, this is the way I look at it. Our team could be shit, but that doesn't mean Fletch is playing bad. So his stock is still going to be high. Just because we're losing, if he's still out there balling like he always does, he still looks good as an individual. So his draft stock is never going to fall, no matter how bad our team is. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it.
No, but I do hear Vic 3 though. I hear you, Vic, 100%. And I do want to talk about this real quick. Somebody said we got Neville Hewitt, and now Dank Burrito is saying Hewitt is still on the Jets. Before I came on here, I read a Bleeding Green Nation report. I didn't finish it, but the Eagles, the Packers, the Niners, and somebody else was looking at Neville Hewitt, a linebacker for the Jets, who really came in this year and played all 16 games for the first time because of CJ Mosley opting out for COVID-19. They say he led the Jets in tackles. He's pretty good at the run, but he's horrible. He's horrible against the pass. I think he quarterbacks average 106-point passer rate, 106.2 passer rating when targeting him. Let me ask you guys, would you be up to getting I don't know if you know who Neville Hewitt is, but just from what I read there, I mean, is that going to help the linebacking core that's already bad?
I don't know, man. I've never heard of him. Honestly, I don't watch that many Jets games because why?
Man,
Sorry to
talking about the Eagles linebacking core. Everything helps.
Yeah, well, no, I totally agree. Everything helps, yeah, but I don't know who
we can put him on. Don't know if he's going to be good enough to start. You know what I mean? It's good to acquire.
He's just asking if we heard of him. No, I've never heard of him. I know nothing about him. I have to look at him a little bit. But
well, the only reason I knew a little bit about him before the Bleeding Green Nation report, because for those who follow me a lot know that my brother's a Jets fan. So he tried to tell me all about his roster like I care about it. Like, well, this guy might be good in the future. I'm all like, okay, I don't care. CJ Mosley went out and he opted out for COVID, so this guy had to fill in. He was pretty darn good against the run, a solid guy, but he's horrible against the pass. I think in this new system that I think Jonathan Gann is going to bring over, kind of with Minnesota, he's a cover 2 guy. I don't think he's going to play solely cover 2, but that we're going to see some more zone. So I think we're going to ask more of our linebackers to drop back in coverage. And that's where I think we're going to need a little bit more help too, because even though I like Alex Singleton, I like him going downhill. Which someone said in here, Philly 500 has a video out that we're pursuing him. I read this from Bleeding Green Nation. Now he's following up with that. Again, it's a downhill linebacker. We don't got guys that cover unless Davion or Sean Bradley take that next step under the new coaching staff.
Well, to bring that up, I don't know if it was you or Joey, but one of you two had Wilson, the second string linebacker from the Minnesota Vikings.
Had to be Joey.
Yeah, okay, it was Joey then, but he had a second string linebacker. I don't know what his first name was, but it was Wilson.
I think it's good.
Go ahead.
Is it Eric Wilson?
I think so, yeah. And he said that Cat. Sorry. But he said that he'd be a good option for us. You know, he's their second string linebacker, and he did pretty well last year, so I wouldn't mind taking a look at him if he's an option.
There you go. Real quick,
it scares me a little bit. Yeah, it scares me a little bit. If we just got rid of Nate Gary, why do we want Nate Gary 2.0 from what it sounds like? You know what I mean? Again, why are we making the same mistakes if that's what it is? If he's horrible in coverage, we shouldn't be even looking his way.
Yeah, like you said, everything helps, right?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Everything helps, but if it's as bad as it's being told right now,
we lost Duke. Yeah. Who did Duke Riley go to?
I think it was Miami.
Yeah, Miami. So not saying Duke Riley was great, but listen, who knows? Maybe Davion Taylor, a guy who has raw potential, just needed to learn a little bit more of the X and O's in football because of the lack of playing experience. The dude he's fast, he's quick, he's strong. He just hasn't been in the linebacker position long enough to really know the do's and the don'ts as much as you'd want him to. So maybe he takes the next step with this new coaching staff. We'll see. But real quick, shout out to my guy, Joseph Vega, with the $2 super chat. This year, Rocky's second fight against Apollo. We win. Shout out to my guy, Joseph Vega. I see him in a lot of chats, and whenever he's there, he's always bringing the energy. If I stop by anybody's chat, my guy, Joseph Vega, is nothing but the most positive Eagle fan I hear or see in the chats. And hey, I ain't mad at the game because at the end of the day, when I'm watching on Sundays, I want to have his mindset. So, you know what I mean? I watch it on Sunday. I want to have his mindset, and I hope the Eagles have his mindset.
Somebody's got to make us look good, Mike.
Exactly. Jackson said Neville Hewitt's career stats: combined tackles 352, assisted tackles 123, 7.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 0 touchdowns. Hey, he got 3 interceptions, but
Yeah.
I just read that per PFF, which I know PFF is always questionable too. And again, this is what I got from the article, that he wasn't that great in pass coverage. But again, some of these guys who are not good, how many times have a team took a guy who was a role player and turned him into a starter? I think hopefully we have a coaching staff that starts doing that. Like, look at our players. Perfect example, Patrick Chung. He plays for the Patriots. He's good. We signed him on a short deal. I'm hyped. He getting beat left and right. Goes back to the Patriots. He's a Pro Bowl safety again. So maybe, under Jonathan Gannon, and I'm giving Jonathan Gannon and Nick Sirianni a lot of ups, but we got to start having coaching staffs that develop guys. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it's not all these guys' fault. They're not living up to potential. And it's also on the coaching staff that, again, don't want to point it out, but Rasul Douglas, Mr. can't do nothing other than 10 yards. Sidney Jones, Mr. can't stay healthy / gets beat too. They go to Jacksonville and Carolina, and I'm not saying they're knocking on the Pro Bowl, but they're getting extended and they're making plays. There was a couple weeks where Rasul was up there with the top corners. Sidney Jones gets extended. People are playing better in different systems under different coaching staffs, under different positional coaches. So hopefully we got some more oomph in the coaching staff just for one-on-one training and stuff, technique and all that stuff.
And a lot of times it's a good player. It's just a bad scheme for that player. That's why a lot of times when we say maybe they need a different change, they need to change the scenery. A lot of times it's that coaching scheme. It's that defensive scheme that they're working in. They're not meant for it. Just like the 2 cornerbacks you just mentioned, Sidney Jones, and we have Rasul Douglas. They weren't for us. They weren't matching our scheme. Couldn't play well. We were trying to fit, what is it, a square peg in a round hole. We've been constantly trying to do that. That's why they look better when they're somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, man. Like, no lie. Let's not all lie here. Our defensive system was hard to learn. To play our defense, you had to be really good in man.
And we picked another defensive coordinator who really didn't care for the linebacker position, which
exactly.
That thing drives me wild. Like, what was it? The 0-1 Ravens, when they went, first thing their defensive lineman said, man, if it wasn't for our linebackers, we wouldn't be able to do anything. Our linebackers are everything. They help out the corners, they help out the line, they help everything out. It all starts with the linebackers. And somehow, no one in the Eagles organization ever heard that. It fell on deaf ears.
Well, we haven't had a linebacker since what? Jeremiah Trotter?
Willie T. Well, yeah, Trotter and Willie T. Come on.
I mean, our defense, I don't know where we went wrong, man, but we need to get back to the early 2000s. Our defense needs to get back to our hard-hitting ways, our coverage linebackers and our run stoppers. And, I don't know what we played back in early 2000s. What was it, cover 2, cover 3?
No, I think we were always no, I don't think we were cover 2. Buddy wasn't a cover 2 defense.
No, cover 3. Though.
And I think the Buddy was a 4-6.
4-6.
Yeah, a 4-6 here, and then it stepped to the 4-3 afterward.
Yeah, but I mean,
I might be mistaken. I think Buddy might mixed around with the 3-4 also, but
Yeah, well, that's one thing I want to know what Gannon's going to do. I believe we'll still be a 4-3. Most of Zimmer's defenses are 4-3, I believe. And again, Jonathan Gannon is going to come with his own twist, but he's still under that at Mike Zimmer. Again, I like cover 2. What cover 2 does, it gives your corners a little bit more freedom to play the ball. Darius Slay said on a podcast already that, he couldn't be as big play Slay as he wanted to be because he had to play a lot of man. He shadowed the number 1 receiver and he played man. When you play man, you're facing your man. You get half a second to make a move on the ball, but you're really playing the player. It's a react system, not as much of a react system as he's used to. And I'm not saying we're going to have great safeties. I like the start of Anthony Harris, hopefully Ronnie McLeod, who Anthony Harris and Ronnie McLeod played in UVA together. McLeod was the senior. Harris was a freshman. He looked up to him and then he dipped on him. But that tandem might be,
How you feel about Kayvon?
I like Kayvon. I think he has a little growing up to do. It sucks that the most playing time he got in the game was when we were going against San Fran, and he had to go man to man with George Kittle, and Kittle kind of ate him up a little bit. But what safety's not going to get ate up man to man on Kittle? But it's like hey, welcome to the league, little man. And so that's only going to get him better. You know what I mean?
I love Kayvon Wallace's energy though. He brings the energy, man. That's one thing.
That's Twitter, right?
Yeah, but that's why, like, when we drafted him, the first thing I was like, look, this kid's going to be the rookie of the year. Like, he's going to demolish everybody. But he wasn't able to produce on the field. Now, this year, hopefully, he gets a little more opportunity and he gets out there and he proves, those people wrong. But yeah, he brings that energy. He talks the talk.
Well,
I agree. Go ahead.
When I watched his tape early on last year in Clemson, to me, he was a guy who liked to play at the line of scrimmage. Clemson used him in blitz packages a lot. His coverage grade man-to-man against a slot player or a tight end wasn't the best. I thought he had to work on that. I just thought he was a hard-hitting guy who is always around the ball.
I think they use him at linebacker also.
Yeah, well, yeah, he would play that hybrid linebacker spot for Clemson. Again, he got tossed in the fire against George Kittle. He learned a little bit, but I think he's going to develop again. Having Anthony Harris here, having Ronnie McLeod in here is going to stunt his growth again once them two are fully healthy. Anthony Harris being healthy already. But you got 6 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks with Ronnie McLeod out. We have no Jalen Mills. We did sign that rotational special team guy, Andrew Adams. But other than Andrew Adams, it looks like Kayvon can get some early snaps if he progresses well in OTAs, training camp, gets on the good side of Jonathan Gannon. Maybe he gets to start over Andrew Adams, Marcus Epps, if he's even still here. We don't have depth at the safety position, so Kayvon can play some early snaps and make a name for him. And if not, we will have Ronnie McLeod coming back, and we do got that Andrew Adams who can possibly beat him out. But real quick, Joseph Vega again with another $2 banger. No one plays well in Sticks defense. Thank God he left. Well, the Sticks defense was always the worst. It was like, I used to hate when it looked like a walk in the park play to get the third and 6. Dudes playing 12 yards off. It's like, yo, I'm pitch and catch with my son, Listen, I don't want to trash Jim Schwartz a lot because I think Jim Schwartz does things well, but with the talent we had and the system he played, it had to happen. He had to go. I didn't like it anymore, but I don't want to discredit his philosophy. You give him a good team, he can make stuff happen with the right stuff. I just think he failed us. We failed him. See ya. Bye. But I like his system wide 9-wise and playing coverage. I never liked the Sticks though. The Sticks is just I don't understand it. Whoever came up with that. Why?
Yeah. Well, and also I love him as a person, just outside of football. Schwartz as a person is amazing. So, I will never talk bad about him. His system might have been flawed in certain ways, but you can never doubt him as a person, man.
There you go. Real quick, shout out to another channel member, Jalen Williams. He said, also beware a lot of Harris's INTs from 2019 were him being at the right place at the right time, not him forcing a turnover, which is true. And I look at it 2 ways. I look at it, was it coincidental luck he was there, or was his awareness up and he got there at the right time? So I agree. It wasn't no like 50-50 balls he beat people to and stuff like that. But I do like Anthony Harris as a player. If you go back and search up, for those who are following me recently and not before, in the off season of 19, I have a sole video saying I want Anthony Harris as a signing. Like I wanted him. And then the Vikings tagged him for 11.4 mil. So we're getting the same guy who made 11.4 mil last year for 5 mil. Can't go wrong. 1 year prove it deal. And guess what? We don't got many other options, to be honest. But Jalen, hey, shout out to you. Next time I need you to get up on here because this guy right here knows offensive line talk. He's been on with Battlebirds podcast and stuff like that. He's a channel member to both me and Gate City. Shout out to Jalen. We need to get you on here, my guy, because we're gonna be talking about some O-line. Vic want to know.
Yeah, man, that's the best man to talk to if you're talking O-line right there.
Facts. All right. Well, so we are an hour and 39. I kind of planned for only an hour, and y'all guys just kind of rode with me. We're gonna chop it up for a little bit more, have some closing thoughts. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see some people who've been here the whole hour and 39, some people just coming in. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. And like I said, if you are interested in possibly joining channel membership, the link is in the description. Take a look at it. If you like it, cool. If not, just keep rocking with me and throughout the season, we gonna fly like an eagle, you know what I mean? So let's close up with some let's talk some where everybody still always falls back on. Let's talk the draft, but you know, Pitts and Chase, we've been talking about that forever. Let's talk about a second round pick. Now, I don't know how much you guys really look deeper in the draft and stuff, and it's really hard because we don't know who's actually going to be there. But whether it's right or wrong, we got an idea of what mocks look like and things of that sort. And we are picking 38th?
38
round. It's number 38 pick, or 38 or 37. You know, we always talk, as soon as we talk draft, we talk first round, pick 6, Chase, Pitts, this guy. And we still got a long way to go to April, so we're going to be continuing Chase, Pitts, this guy. Let's end this on a second round possible pick for the Eagles. Let's start with what position let me know what position you'll be looking at, preferably, and or a player you think will fall to the number 38th pick and the Eagles could possibly get. Starting with, you guys can pick. Who goes first?
Do you have yours? Do you have yours already?
Yeah, I already have mine. Yeah. I've been, like I've said it many times. I've been loud about my second pick. It's going to be a cornerback. I'm hoping it's the cornerback out of UCF, Tay Gowan. Great size, physical, good speed. He'll have a pro day on the 1st. I mean, he's a good guy. Asante Samuel Jr. is another one that I'm hoping that's there if he's not available. You mean? But yeah, for the second round pick, I'm hoping we go corner. I'm hoping we get a player that will be here for years to come. That's what I'm hoping for out that second round pick.
Okay.
Go. And real quick before you go, give you a little extra time. You had a bunch of people agreeing with you. They say corner. We had a lot of people say Asante Samuel Jr., MDP, Asante Samuels. Who else said it? He's Bill Dean said Asante Samuels. A couple people definitely talking about corner, and I think defense. I think if we go that number 1 skill player with the 6, I think I would not be mad if second, third is all on the defensive side, because honestly, I think as we sit right now, I'm not saying our offense is great. I'm not saying our defense is great or bad or whatever. I just think our offense is better suited as we sit right now. And if we get the number 6 overall pick on offense, that jumps it up. So I would like to spend a lot of picks on defense. With that being said, second round pick, where are you looking, AK Eagle 88?
Well, it all depends on what we do with our first, like you said. If we take like Pitts or Chase, then yes, cornerback with the second, you know. Hopefully Horn would be there at the beginning where we could trade up a few spots to get him. You know, that'd be pretty sweet. But you know, I also like his pick too, Vix. But if we traded down and we got a defensive player in the first, in the second, I'd go with probably Terrence Marshall Jr. from LSU. If we could get him.
So you're saying if somehow Howie went back a little bit, got some more draft picks, which actually could help in the later rounds, and we did go defensive first, you wouldn't mind then that would be your second round wide receiver, hoping to get
second. Yep.
Solid guy.
So the cornerbacks definitely with the second if you go Pitts or Chase with number 6.
I'm not even opposed of us going back to the cornerback position for the third round pick. Like, if you see me, I'm hard body on it. We need cornerbacks. Let's go second and third.
It is a passing league. We don't got many corners. I do want to get a linebacker though as well. Yeah,
there's quality linebackers out there, man. Like 4th, 5th round.
We got 2/3. We got 2/3. Remember, we got our third and Indies.
I really want Chaz Surratt in the third. Chaz Surratt
out of North Carolina.
Yeah, if we can get him in the third, if he's there, hopefully, which I hope he is. I would expect him to be. I would really like Chaz Surratt.
Hey,
yeah,
and again, it's It could definitely happen. We got 2/3. If you really like a guy in the third, maybe you package one up. I mean, I really would like to hit 2/3 because after the third, we don't have a fourth. We don't pick again into the fifth. So I think you got to do your biggest damage with possible guys who can actually play in 2021 with your six, with your first, your second, your third, and third. You could possibly get 4 impactful players. I'm not saying your fifth, your six, your seven, because I know we have I think we got 2 fifth, 2 6, and 2 7. So we got something along them lines. I don't know.
I think we got an extra
I'm not
second
saying you
thing.
can't hit with your fifth, your sixth, and your seventh, but it's more unlikely. Like if there's 100 fifth round picks, there's going to be some that play and are good, but there's going to be more that are that don't pan out. Anyway, how he picking? I don't hold my breath. But first, second, third, with our first 4 picks, we could get players that possibly play. Need that. No JJ Arcega-Whitesides.
And in all honesty, man, no lie, I expect our first 5 picks to be positional players that we use right away. I mean, in all honesty, if that's the way we're going to go and we're going to do this rebuild right, our first 5 picks should be players that are going to play and are going to be key position players. Like we're talking corners, linebackers, maybe a safety, wide receiver, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, whatever,
Hey, Jalen just named that guy right there, Richie Grant. I would not be opposed to him being a second or third round pick.
No, I agree too.
He's a great safety, and that's one thing that we got to focus on. Everybody in the NFL is focused on safety. Safeties are going up. The premium on safeties is high. So that's telling me that, listen, everybody's planning on getting these tight ends covered this year.
Yeah, I just watched his video today.
Defensive schemes are scheming for tight ends now.
Yeah.
Scheming for tight ends.
He's dope. He's good.
Yeah, expect a lot of those people who you thought were going to be, stars in 2021. They're going to come up with duds.
Yep.
Defense is coming this year.
He's trying to low key not say nothing but poo poo on Kyle Pitts.
Nah, listen, like I said, I'm gonna say this right now. I think Kyle Pitts is a phenomenal athlete. He's not for the Eagles. We're not in the position to have Kyle Pitts this year. We're not. This ain't Kyle Pitts' year for us. He's not coming to us. It's not gonna happen. Everybody can want him. You're saying local boy. God bless him. It's not gonna happen.
Hey, I hear you. I ain't mad at the game. Hey, listen, real quick. Shout out to everybody in the chat still. We still got 75 people in here. And I haven't said this one time, but hopefully you guys did hit the like button a couple times. We got up to like 80, 90 people. Listen, if you haven't hit the like button, it's free. It's easy. It don't cost a thing. Smash the like button. It helps push this out to other Philly fans. We try to grow the family. And again, shout out to Rome One More, Jalen Williams, a couple channel members left. There were other ones, but listen, channel members, stay tuned. I want to get you guys in with these guys, without these guys. Maybe I just won't even be here and let you guys rock. And I'm just kidding.
I'll take care. You know what I mean, Mike? I got you. If you're ever sick, I got you for hosting duty. Channel members, get out. Your channel members, get out there. Get on this show. Get on right now. Talk your talk. Don't be scared. Don't hide the camera. Put the camera on. Put the microphone on. Say a couple of words. Don't get scared.
Exactly. Yep. And real quick, again, I messaged him on my phone already, but I should have said this in the beginning in case he did catch this. Dang, I want to wish my guy Philly Fresh a happy birthday. And so everybody who is subscribed to Philly Fresh, go over there, just comment on an old video, new video. Maybe he put a video out today on his birthday. Comment on it. Happy birthday. And if you knew it, then just say happy birthday. But if you didn't, let him know it came from Philly Mike. You know what I mean? I did text him early in the morning.
Flood his Twitter, let it be known. Flood everything.
Yeah, definitely. We show all our Eagle people love. And listen, happy again,
birthday, General.
Yeah, the General's tough. With that being said, we're gonna get some closing out thoughts. Yeah, we talked about the second round picks. I like it. Say what's up to the say bye to the people. We're gonna hang it up in a little bit. Whoever want to go first.
I'll let you go.
Well, hey, I appreciate y'all stopping in. I enjoyed playing, and talking with you guys. Mike, I've been rolling with you for a while, dude. One of the best. Watch you every day. And then I saw Philly, the podcast in here too. You too, I watch all the time. I respect you guys. You guys keep it real. And I love watching you. And everyone in here, if you're not subscribed, please do, because he's one of the best in the business for sure. Truly is.
Appreciate it. Go ahead, Vic.
Yeah, man. Like I always tell you, man, I appreciate you. I love the moves you make. You know what I'm saying? I see you out here. You're the hardest working out here. You videos on top of videos on top of videos. Don't let a news leak come out because, you know what I'm saying, Philly Mike is on top of it. Everybody in the chat, hit that like, subscribe, and don't be greedy. Share. Come on, man. Show my man
Sharing is
appreciation. And shout out to the
sharing.
BBP podcast. You know what I'm saying? Battlebirds all day.
Yep.
And listen, I talked to Gate and Fresh. We're gonna start getting back on our Battlebirds grind. We've been slacking, but people got some stuff we got to do. But we're gonna get back to that. Thank you, Vic3 and AK Eagle 88 for coming on. Like I said, if you haven't done it, check out the description. Read about the channel membership. If you like what you hear, hit the button. Maybe you could be on here next. I know I do call-ins, but as you see, I kick you guys off on the call-in within 2 minutes. We just rocked out for almost 2 hours talking birds. We switch it up. We go off you guys real quick. Shout out to my guy Cordarius K with the $2 donation. He said, "So y'all ain't taking Najee Harris in the second round." Here's my take on Harris. The dude is a thumper. He would fit perfect with Miles Sanders. Cordarius kid, I agree. He would fit great with Miles Sanders. I just think I don't know if he's going to be best player available in a second because remember, we're early second. And I don't know if the thumper running back super succeeds the lack of cornerbacks and linebackers and safeties, oh my, on the defense. So Cordarius kid, I like what it would look like. It'd be nice and Madden, and I'll mess with it. I just don't know if our defense can allow the first 2 picks to go offense, and we're just crying for defense with all the holes we got. But once again, check this description for the link to possibly become a member. Shout out to the members in here real quick. Let's get Jalen's in here before we end it off. If the linebacker from Notre Dame slips to the mid-20s, trade up ASAP. Mid-20s. So you're trying to go up to like 25-ish, 24, and you would take the linebacker over a JC Horn? That linebackers just it's tough. It's tough. We got so many holes.
I will say this year, like this draft class is not like we're talking about it. It's a very talented draft class. It's a deep draft class.
Yeah.
So whatever we do, like hopefully we all say this, how we can't mess this up, how we 1000% can mess this up.
Yeah.
But the thing we have to do is knock it on that wood. The thing we have to hope for is that A, Dorsey left the draft board and already finished. B, that he has competent people on his coaching staff to get in Howie's face and say, you know what, I don't think that's the right guy. This is what we need. And Howie has the foresight to even listen to them and say, you know what, you might be right, and go on with that. That's the only way I see this draft going well. If everyone's working together. If Howie's doing everything on his own, we're screwed.
Yeah. and no lie, he's 100% correct. We shouldn't do anything drastic. There's plenty of talent here. We just got to be smart. Don't try and think outside the box. Don't try and be brilliant. Don't try and be a genius.
Don't try to convert nobody. Don't try to go for specialty projects. Don't do any of that.
Yeah. Don't try and go get no JJ
don't
or
overthink it,
side. Stick to what you know. And
yep. Remember, the title of this season is If.
Yes.
If Howie can do everything right, we'll be where we need to be.
Yeah. Yep. But real quick, there are a lot of linebackers that could hit in the second, third round, like the Chaz Surratt's, the Xavier Collins, the
sleep on KJ Britt from Auburn. Don't sleep on him. That's a 4th, 5th round talent. I'm telling you, this draft is deep. We got linebackers in there.
Yep.
We will find out. Like I said, appreciate everybody for coming through. We just are 7 minutes under 2 hours. Until next time, y'all know what time it is. Like button, subscribe button. If you want to be on here, check the description. Y'all know what time it is. We out. Peace.
Peace.